The last time I sat across from my dad, he was wearing a suit 3 sizes too small, sweating like a pig under the church lights, smiling like nothing had happened. It was my brother's wedding day. Not mine. Not a graduation. Not the day I left for college. That day never came. Because 3 months earlier, my dad had drained my entire college fund, $84,000, and used it to pay for Nate's wedding. Not a loan. Not a family emergency. A fucking wedding. I found out through a text from my aunt. Didn't realize you guys were helping pay for the venue. Looks gorgeous. I sat there in my shitty part-time job's break room, holding a cold grilled cheese, staring at that message like it was in another language. Helping pay? We weren't helping pay for anything. I was supposed to be packing for school. I'd been accepted to NYU, early decision, full tuition not covered. That money was mine. Not mine like I was entitled. Mine like, my mom had opened that account when I was 10, and after she died, my dad promised, he'd keep it safe. That it was untouchable. But now it was gone. And Nate? Nate was getting married in a vineyard that looked like it belonged in a Netflix movie. There were white tents. A custom bar. Live string quartet. And don't even get me started on the cake. 5 layers, edible gold, flown in from some bougie bakery in LA. I wasn't invited. That was the best part. My dad knew what he'd done. He knew I'd find out. And he didn't want me there ruining his little show. But I went anyway. Not for them. For me. I walked in through the back, no dress, no heels, just jeans, a black t-shirt, and the angriest face I could wear without getting tackled by security. I stood near the back row as the music started. Nate looked smug. His bride, Amber, looked like she'd been photoshopped in real life. Everything was perfect. And I stood there, with a fucking NYU hoodie stuffed in my tote bag, thinking, this is what my life got traded for. My dad saw me halfway through the vows. His eyes flicked to mine, and for a second, he froze. His lips stopped moving. But then he kept going, reading those fake-ass lines like nothing had happened. After the ceremony, I didn't stay for the reception. I didn't need to. I sent my dad a text while he was taking group photos. You stole my future and gave it to Nate. Don't ever speak to me again. He didn't reply. It took me 3 days to stop crying. Not pretty crying, ugly, breathless, can't-stand-up kind of crying. The kind that sticks in your ribs and rots there. Everyone kept telling me I had options. You can take out loans. Community college is fine too. You can apply again next year. Like they were patches on a bullet wound. No one said, you were robbed. No one said, that was unforgivable. They just wanted me to be polite. Quiet. The good daughter who doesn't ruin family events. The girl who keeps peace even when everything's burning. But I wasn't going to play that role anymore. So I did what he told me never to do. I aired the truth. I made a post on Facebook. Long. Honest. Named names. I know that was a little petty and immature, but to be honest, I wasn't thinking. My dad used the college fund my mom left me to pay for my brother's wedding. I didn't go. I won't speak to them again. I wasn't ready for the chaos that followed. People were split. Half the family tried to message me in secret. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I wouldn't have gone either. The other half? Radioactive. Nate's new wife messaged me the next day with a paragraph of pure venom. You're jealous. Bitter. No one's life goes as planned. Grow up. She blocked me right after. Brave. My dad, of course, stayed quiet. Silent treatment. As if ignoring me would make me disappear. But I didn't disappear. I got loud. I started freelancing. Saving. I applied for every remote gig I could find. Transcription, tutoring, ghostwriting. Anything that paid. I cut off every family member who called me dramatic. And I never once picked up when Dad called 6 months later. Because by then, he had a new problem. The marriage he sacrificed me for was starting to crack. And I was just getting started. 6 months after the wedding I wasn't invited to, I was eating instant noodles on the floor of a 1-bedroom I could barely afford, scrolling through Instagram, when I saw the first crack. Amber had deleted every photo from the wedding. Gone. No dress. No husband. No vineyard. Just a feed full of filtered selfies and motivational quotes like sometimes the wrong people teach you the right lessons. I nearly choked on my soup. Then I went straight to Facebook. Nate's profile still had their wedding photo as his header, but Amber? Gone from his friends list. Relationship status? Hidden. I waited 1 day, then 2. No update. Nothing official. But I could feel it. That itch in the air. Something had gone down, and it was bad. I didn't say a word. I didn't message anyone. I just sat back and watched. And then, boom. Aunt Rochelle, the family gossip channel in human form, posted a vague status. Some people really show their true colors once the honeymoon ends. Glad I've always kept my distance. I laughed out loud. The same woman who raved about the wedding centerpieces was now posting subliminal shade like she hadn't been front row. Suddenly everyone was pretending they hadn't cheered while I was getting robbed blind. A few days later, my cousin Jenna texted me. I know you probably don't care, but Amber moved out. Nate's been staying at Dad's. That's when I cracked my knuckles and whispered to no one, good. Because you know what? I'd been quiet long enough. Everyone acted like I was crazy for making a scene when I found out my dad blew my college fund on Nate's dream wedding. Like I was some bitter little sibling mad I wasn't the center of attention. But here we were, not even a year later, and Prince Nate was back in his childhood bedroom, and his princess had left the damn castle. I didn't need to rub it in. I just needed to make sure no one forgot how we got here. So I posted a photo of my NYU acceptance letter again. Just the letter. No caption. The comments came fast. You're still doing this. Thought you moved on. This is sad, honestly. Good. Let them be uncomfortable. I didn't care about their opinions anymore. I cared about the truth sitting where everyone could see it. Because while Nate was licking his wounds and probably blaming the world for Amber walking out, I was working my ass off. I'd taken 3 freelance jobs. 1 editing academic essays, 1 writing captions for thrift stores' Instagram, and 1 tutoring spoiled teenagers who rolled their eyes every time I corrected their grammar. My life was ramen and secondhand Wi-Fi, but at least I wasn't married to someone who needed to steal his sister's future to throw a party. The best part? I was getting close to a real win. I'd saved almost $11,000. It wasn't NYU money, but it was enough to start community college on my terms. No debt. No dad. No fake-ass support system pretending they were rooting for me while handing my dreams over to a boy in a tux. But life's funny. Just when you think you're done with a chapter, it tries to claw its way back in. It was a Tuesday. Middle of the day. I was on a Zoom call with a kid who couldn't understand algebra if it hit him in the face, when my phone started blowing up. Texts from Jenna. From Rochelle. Even my dad. We need to talk. Can you come to the house? It's Nate. My stomach flipped. At first I thought maybe something serious had happened. Hospital. Accident. Something real. But no. I should have known better. When I finally called Jenna back, she sighed dramatically and said, "He's depressed, okay? He's not eating. Won't come out of his room. Amber's threatening to go public about the prenup." I blinked. Prenup? Oh. Yeah. There was one. But Dad signed off on some joint assets to keep Amber happy. It's messy. I laughed. Like, full belly, can't he breathe kind of laugh. You're calling me because Nate's sad that his marriage collapsed and his money's at risk? After what he and Dad did to me? Jenna tried to play peacemaker. I'm just saying, maybe talk to him? He keeps asking about you. I think he wants to apologize. Too late. Way too fucking late. I didn't care if he was crying into a $2,000 pillow from his wedding registry. I didn't care if Amber emptied his bank account and posted his snoring on TikTok. I didn't care if my dad was finally realizing he sacrificed his daughter for short-lived fantasy. They made their choice. And now they were choking on it. I agreed to meet Nate. Not because I gave a shit about his feelings. I just wanted to see what he looked like without the crown on his head. He chose the same coffee shop we used to go to as kids, the one with the cracked leather seats and burnt muffins that somehow still sold out every morning. I showed up 10 minutes late on purpose. When I walked in, I spotted him instantly. He looked like shit. Hair grown out. Puffy eyes. Hoodie 2 sizes too big, probably trying to make himself look small, pitiful. I sat across from him and didn't say a word. He opened with, "Thanks for coming." I didn't respond. Then he tried again. "I just wanted to explain." That word, explain, pissed me off more than anything. "I don't need an explanation," I said. "I need to know what you want." He blinked, caught off guard. Because for once, I wasn't playing the role of the quiet sister, the pushover, the emotional cleanup crew for his messes. He cleared his throat. "I know what Dad did wasn't fair." "What you did," I corrected him. Silence. He looked down at his cup. "I didn't ask for the money. I didn't even know it came from your college fund until after the fact. And then you said nothing." "I didn't know how to fix it." "You could have fixed it," I snapped. "You could have told Amber no to the fucking vineyard. You could have postponed the wedding. You could have cut costs. Hell, you could have paid it back. But you didn't." His jaw tightened. "I didn't mean for it to hurt you." I laughed, short, sharp. "You didn't care enough for it to matter." He rubbed his face with both hands like he was tired, like I was the exhausting one. That's when I realized this wasn't about an apology. It was a PR move. He didn't want forgiveness. He wanted relief. A clean conscience. "Too bad. You came here to make yourself feel better," I said. "But you're not going to." He shook his head. "You're my sister." "No. I was your sister. You made your choice. And now you get to live with it." He didn't say anything after that. Just sat there looking like he wanted me to reach across the table and pat his hand. Comfort him. Hug him. Say, "It's okay." But I wasn't going to do that. I got up, tossed my half-empty cup in the trash, and walked out without saying goodbye. And this time, I didn't look back. Later that week, my dad called again. I didn't pick up, so he left a voicemail. "I know you're still upset. But we're family. This thing with Nate and Amber is bigger than just money. He needs us right now. I need you." I stared at my phone, disgusted. "I need you." The man hadn't said those words since I was 10 years old, standing in the driveway with my backpack while he yelled at my mom for wanting to open that college fund in the first place. "Let her figure it out when she's older," he said back then. "Life's hard. She needs to learn that." Guess I learned. I took that voicemail, saved it, and sent it to my friend Sasha. She ran a podcast about family estrangement and healing. We'd met online through a writing forum, and when she found out what I was going through, she offered me a guest slot. At first I hesitated. But now I was ready. We recorded the episode on a Thursday night. I told her everything. Not just about the money, but the history. The way Dad always put Nate first. The years of invisibility. The slow realization that love in our house came with strings, and I was always the one being untied when it was convenient. The episode dropped the next week. I didn't tag anyone. I didn't name names. But the story was out there. Hundreds of women messaged me. This happened to me. My parents gave my college fund to my brother too. I thought I was the only one. Turns out I wasn't bitter. I wasn't dramatic. I wasn't ungrateful. I was just done being quiet. Then came the last message. From Amber. "I listened to your podcast. I didn't know the money was yours. If I had, I would have never gone through with the wedding." I didn't believe her. But I appreciated the attempt. Then she added, "If you ever want receipts, let me know. I've got plenty." That's when I knew this wasn't over. Not yet. I used to think Nate and I were close. Like, real close. We were 2 years apart, and growing up, he was always the loud one, the funny one, the one people naturally liked. I was okay with that. I didn't need to be the center of attention, I just needed to feel like I mattered. And sometimes, it really did feel perfect. We'd ride our bikes around the block until our legs went numb. We'd eat cereal straight out of the box on Saturday mornings, watching cartoons with the volume way too high. He used to pull me up by the hand when I couldn't climb the jungle gym fast enough, calling me monkey girl with a big stupid grin. And even though I knew, deep down, that our parents looked at him a little differently, I didn't let it bother me. Not then. Nate was the one who got the new sneakers while I wore hammer-downs. He was the one who got ice cream after bad grades because he was trying. Meanwhile, I got a lecture and extra chores for AB+. Still, I swallowed it. Because sometimes Dad would call me his quiet storm. Sometimes Mom would leave me notes in my lunchbox, just for me. And for those few seconds, I felt seen. I clung to that shit like oxygen. I didn't need to be the favorite. I just needed to exist. But lately, I kept thinking back to those memories and wondering if they were even real, or if I'd just edited them to survive. I remembered the time Nate punched a hole in the drywall after losing a video game, and Dad patched it up himself and bought him a new console to cheer him up. How I had to save allowance money to buy my own prom dress, while Nate got a tux rental paid for and a limo too. I remembered crying quietly in the bathroom when I got my period for the first time, and no one noticed, because everyone was too busy setting up for Nate's birthday party. And suddenly, it was like the spell broke. This wasn't about one college fund. It wasn't about a wedding. It wasn't even about Nate. It was about a lifetime of being handed crumbs and being told to smile while someone else ate the whole damn cake. But still, God, there was this stupid, flickering guilt that wouldn't die. What if I was overreacting? What if losing my college fund wasn't the worst thing in the world? People had it harder, right? Some people never even had a savings account. Some people worked 3 jobs and still made it. Maybe I was just being dramatic, selfish, entitled. That voice? It wasn't even mine. It was Dad's. And for a second, just 1 second, I almost believed it. I almost believed that I should call Nate back. That I should be the bigger person. That maybe, all the pain I'd carried around was just me being soft. But then I looked in the mirror. And I didn't see soft. I saw a woman who had smiled her way through every moment of being made small. Who had clapped for her brother's wins while hers were ignored. Who had been told she was strong while no one actually gave a shit what she had to carry. And you know what? Fuck that. Fuck the good daughter act. Fuck the fake forgiveness. Fuck the idea that love has to be earned through silence. I'm not overreacting. I'm just finally reacting, after a lifetime of pretending I was fine. I sat down that night with an old box of photos. Me and Nate in Halloween costumes. Me holding up my 3rd grade science fair ribbon. Mom's handwriting on the back of a picture, our little genius. And yeah, I cried. Not because I wanted that life back. But because I finally admitted to myself that it was never really mine. I deserved more. Not more money. Not more praise. Just more honesty. More care. More goddamn fairness. And if the people who were supposed to give me that couldn't even be bothered to say sorry, then they didn't get to have me anymore. No half reunions. No let's talk it out. No coffee dates with cousins trying to play therapist. I was done. Done playing small. Done being polite. Done excusing shit behavior because that's just how family is. I wiped my eyes, got up, and opened Amber's last message. If you ever want proof, let me know. I've got plenty. It was time. Time to see what else they were hiding. Amber sent the screenshots at 2:13 a.m. I was half asleep on my mattress on the floor, too tired to even brush my teeth, when my phone lit up. I stared at the message for a few seconds, thumb hovering. He's not just a coward. He's a liar. You should have this. I opened the first screenshot. It was a message from Nate to Amber, 2 months before their wedding. She's not even using the money yet. What difference does it make? College will still be there. The next one was worse. We'll say it came from Dad's investments. She'll get over it. There were bank transfers, too. Amber had access to part of the wedding account, and she'd saved every transaction. The college fund had been emptied in chunks, little by little so no one would notice. But the final transfer? $24,000. In one go. Labeled, final venue payment. I sat up in bed, heart thumping in my throat. It wasn't just betrayal. It was premeditated. They knew what they were doing. They just didn't care. I messaged Amber back one word. Thanks. And then I posted it. No long caption. No rage paragraph. Just 3 screenshots and the words. Here's what happened. No more pretending. I didn't tag anyone. I didn't need to. Within hours, it had over 300 comments. A few of them from strangers. Most of them from family. That's when the messages started. Aunt Rochelle. You're taking this too far now. That's still your father. Whatever happened, we fix it privately. Uncle Keith. You're embarrassing the family. People make mistakes. Don't burn bridges over money. Jenna, could you take it down? Dad's been crying all morning. He says he just wants peace. Peace? Peace was the lie they told me so I'd stay quiet. Peace was the price of being respectable while they handed everything I had to someone else. I didn't reply to any of them. I just posted another message. You all knew. Or you looked away. Either way, I'm not your scapegoat anymore. And then I turned my phone off. The next day, my dad showed up. I heard the knock through the thin apartment door and froze. No one ever visited me in person. It was always texts, DMs, maybe a reluctant phone call. But not this. I looked through the peephole. There he was. Black coat. Wrinkled. Tired. Holding a grocery bag like that would soften me up. Like some apples and juice could rewind the shit he did. I opened the door halfway. He looked at me like I was a stranger. Maybe I was. Maybe I'd finally become someone he couldn't control. I just want to talk, he said. Talk. My voice was flat. He held up the bag. I brought a few things. Thought you might be low on food. I'm not. He looked down, then back up. It's all gotten out of hand. You mean you got caught? He flinched. That money. Listen, I didn't think you were serious about NYU. You hadn't committed yet. You were still thinking. You didn't think I was serious. I nearly laughed. I showed you my acceptance letter. You hugged me and said you were proud. I was proud. Bullshit. That was the first time I'd ever said that word to him. Out loud. His eyes widened, like he couldn't believe I had the nerve. You let Amber and Nate take what wasn't theirs, I said. You told me to be patient. You told me to trust you. And now that the world knows, now you want to fix it. He stepped forward. I stepped back. I'm not here to fight, he said. I'm here because I still see you as my daughter. I stopped being your daughter the second you sold my future for cake and party lights. He looked like he wanted to cry. Or yell. Or break something. Instead, he set the grocery bag on the floor. You're bitter, he said quietly. But bitterness won't get you anywhere. I smiled. Not because I was happy. Because I was finally, done. Maybe. But at least I'm bitter with a clean conscience. Then I closed the door. Just shut it slowly. Decisively. Like putting a file back in the cabinet. Like crossing off a name on a list. I stood in the silence for a long time. Then I picked up the bag. Inside were apples, orange juice, and one of those pre-made deli sandwiches wrapped in crinkled plastic. I tossed the whole thing in the trash. That night, I logged into my savings app. $11,482. I was close. I could see it. Real freedom. My own place. Community college classes. Maybe even a side hustle that didn't involve cleaning up other people's grammar. No more pretending. No more family dinners where I sat there smiling while resentment chewed through my chest. I let it go. I let all of them go. People think walking away means slamming doors. It doesn't. Sometimes it's just not showing up. Not calling back. Not explaining yourself one more fucking time. That's how I did it. No final family meeting. No dramatic last words. I just stopped. They still talk, of course. Every now and then, Jenna texts me updates like I'm a relative she's feeding gossip to from across enemy lines. Dad's been asking about you again. Nate started seeing someone new. She's nice. Uncle Keith says you'll regret isolating yourself. I don't respond anymore. She means well, I think. But even the well-meaning ones still think I'm overreacting. Still think I burned the house down over just money. It was never just money. It was what the money stood for. That my education, my plans, my worth, could be picked up and handed over like a favor. That I was expected to sit quietly, again, because making noise was unbecoming. Let them talk. Let them say I'm difficult. Cold. Petty. Hell, I'll take bitter, too. Because you know what? I'm free. I live in a tiny apartment now. 3rd floor walk up. The ceiling leaks when it rains, and the neighbors play terrible EDM at 2 a.m., but it's mine. I take classes part-time at a local college, nothing fancy, but every single assignment I turn in feels like a middle finger with a smile. I tutor on the side. I edit resumes for people who were never told they were good with words. I walk dogs. I save every dollar I can. And I sleep better than I ever have in my life. I see it now, the quiet rot under how we were raised. The way they trained us to feel guilty for asking for fairness. The way being family meant carrying a burden without complaint. But I don't carry that anymore. I put it down. And I left it there. A few months ago, Amber emailed me again. Short message this time. You were right. I should have asked questions. I didn't reply. Not because I'm angry, but because I no longer feel responsible for other people's late awakenings. Sometimes, I wonder what I'll do when Dad dies. Will I go to the funeral? Will I sit in the back in black jeans, sunglasses on, listening to people say what a provider he was? I don't know. Maybe I'll stay home. Make tea. Look out the window. Not in hate. Just in peace. Because I don't need closure from people who never gave me real connection. I gave it to myself. It's funny. When you stop begging people to see you, when you stop hoping they'll change, you get your life back. You get to become someone who no longer doubts herself every 5 minutes. Who no longer flinches at the word family. No, they never said sorry, they never admitted they were wrong. But that's okay. I don't need an apology to move forward. I just needed to stop bleeding for people who wouldn't hand me a bandage. So yeah, they still call me the black sheep. They still tell their version of the story at dinner tables I no longer sit at. And guess what? I sleep just fine. Because I'd rather be the black sheep in a peaceful apartment than the good daughter in a family that never really saw me.